Most Americans over 50 are doing the wrong exercises, and it is costing them their glutes. Not because they are lazy, not because they are old, because nobody told them the real reason glutes disappear after 50, and it has nothing to do with how many squats you do. Stay with me. Because the third exercise I'm showing you today is the one most fitness programs in America completely ignore. And it is the exact reason your hips look flat and hollow no matter how hard you train. But first, do this right now. Stand up. Place both thumbs on the bony peaks of your hips. Look straight ahead. Is one thumb higher than the other? Does one side feel flatter, more hollow? If yes, your pelvis is already out of balance, and that imbalance is the reason your glutes have gone quiet. Here is what is actually happening inside your body. Your pelvis is the structural foundation of your entire lower body. When it is aligned, your glutes, especially the gluteus medius, the muscle responsible for the rounded shape on the sides of your hips, can fire correctly and respond to training. But after 50 years of sitting, reduced movement, and subtle postural shifts cause your pelvis to tilt, often just slightly. You will not feel it happening. There is no warning signal. What happens instead is devastating. The brain to muscle connection gets cut off. Your lower back, your hip flexors, your quads step in to compensate. And your glutes, they stop being recruited. They weaken, they flatten, they disconnect. This is why millions of American adults over 50 do squats, bridges, and daily walks and still see zero change in shape. The muscle is not broken, it is simply not receiving the signal it needs. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy confirmed this directly. Adults with pelvic tilt or asymmetry showed significantly reduced glute activation even while performing standard glute exercises. More reps will not fix this. The fix has to start with restoring pelvic balance and rebuilding the signal. That is exactly what these three exercises do. Exercise 1. Wall hinge with lateral shift. Stand 6 to 8 inches in front of a wall, facing away from it, feet shoulder width apart, toes turned very slightly inward to open the back of the hips. Knees soft. Hinge at the hips and push back until your glutes slightly tap the wall. Torso leans slightly forward, spine long and straight throughout. From here, shift your hips to the left. No momentum, no rushing. Feel your right glute begin to engage. Return to center. Shift right. Feel the left side activate. Return to center. Stand back up. That is one rep. 8 to 10 repetitions. Full control on every shift. 2 sets total. Common mistake. This is a hip rock, not a torso twist. If your nose is moving side to side, you are missing the target entirely. Upper body stays completely still. Let the pelvis do the work. Right feel. A subtle but clear engagement on the outer side of whichever hip you are shifting away from, not your lower back, not your thighs, the outer hip. If you feel it there, you are doing it correctly. This is not a strength exercise, it is a retraining drill. Its entire purpose is to restore pelvic balance and reactivate the brain to muscle signal before asking your glutes to carry any real load. Think of it as rebooting the connection before loading the system. A 2021 study in physical therapy and sport found that low-load pelvic repositioning drills improved gluteal symmetry and muscle recruitment in older adults in as little as 2 weeks. Small movements, significant impact. Exercise 2. Wall facing squat with calf raise. Stand facing a wall about 6 to 8 inches away. Feet slightly wider than hip width. Toes angled out 10 to 15 degrees. Both hands resting lightly on the wall at shoulder height. Lower into a squat with control. Chest tall. Knees tracking over your toes. Aim for a 45 to 60 degree angle at the thigh. Do not force the depth. At the bottom, rise onto your toes with slow, deliberate control. Hold for 1 to 2 seconds at the top of the calf raise. Lower the heels, then press through your feet and return to standing. 10 to 12 reps, 2 to 3 sets. Keep your knees gently pressing outward throughout. That is what keeps the gluteus medius engaged and working. Common mistake: letting your knees or face touch the wall. If that happens, step back slightly and focus on keeping your chest tall. Right feel: the primary effort should be felt in the back of the hips and outer glutes, not in the knees, not in the lower back. Here is something most Americans never realize about the squat. When you squat without a wall, your body automatically leans forward to counterbalance its own weight. That forward shift transfers the load directly onto your knees. It happens automatically. Most people never notice. The wall acts as a physical boundary that prevents that forward collapse, forcing the load onto your glutes instead of letting your knees steal the work. That one change makes this movement fundamentally more effective than any standard bodyweight squat. The calf raise at the bottom adds a stability challenge most squat variations ignore entirely. A 2022 study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that integrated lower body movements with a balance component improve both muscle tone and fall resilience in adults over 60 even without added weight. Exercise 3: Standing hip abduction with pelvic control. This is the one most American fitness programs leave out completely, and it is the missing piece for the rounded, full shape on the sides of your hips. Stand beside a wall, a sturdy chair, one hand resting lightly for support, feet hip width apart. Stand tall, no leaning to either side. Before you lift, gently draw your lower abdomen in, not a forceful brace, just a light, deliberate engagement to anchor your pelvis in place. Lift your outer legs slowly to the side, foot flexed or neutral. Raise only to hip height or wherever you can go without your torso shifting. Pause for 1 second at the top, then lower with complete, unhurried control. The descent carries just as much value as the lift. 10 to 12 reps per side, 2 to 3 sets. Common mistake: prioritizing height over quality. If your torso is tilting as you lift, your lower back has already taken over. Lower the leg, reset, and regain control before continuing. Right feel: a clear, focused burn in the outer hip, not the lower back, not the hip flexor. If you feel it in the side of your hip and it begins to fatigue around rep 8 or 9, the right muscle is working. Here is why this matters so much. Most glute exercises load the gluteus maximus well, but they almost entirely neglect the gluteus medius, the muscle on the outer hip that is the primary driver of the rounded three-dimensional shape on the sides of your hips. That is the hollow, that is the hip dip. Compound movements, no matter how consistently performed, do not reach it directly. This movement does. A 2020 paper in the Journal of Human Kinetics found that standing hip abduction produced significantly higher gluteus medius activation than compound movements, making it a critical and widely overlooked part of any glute program for American adults over 50. These three exercises work as a system. The sequence is intentional. The first restores pelvic balance and rebuilds the brain to muscle signal. The second builds functional glute strength with the body properly aligned. The third targets the specific muscle most responsible for shape, the one most training programs leave behind entirely. 2 to 3 sessions per week, done consistently. Most people notice the change in how they move before they see it in the mirror, in how stable they feel walking, standing up from a chair, stepping off a curb. Pay attention to that. It means the system is working. You are not just building muscle, you are building the structural foundation to move freely, stay stable, and trust your body again for the next 2 decades. That is worth getting right. If this gave you clarity on something you have been frustrated with for a while, share it with someone in your life who is dealing with the same thing and drop a comment below. I want to know where you are starting from and what has been holding you back. Subscribe if you are not already, because every week we bring American seniors the research backed movement strategies that actually work. Let's keep building.